First. I don't know. I want to say something positive, I guess. I want to laugh. What's funny?
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, hate is vague.
Oh, shit. I fucked everything up. There's different songs playing, wrong songs playing, right songs playing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Just cat videos.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. There's two videos video. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Thank you, guys. Welcome. Anyways, that was Linda Binda on the intro. She's the intro person. We got Scott Rogers intro. We got Linda Binda intro. We got Scott McKay intro. We got all the intros. Okay? Okay? Thank you guys for being here. Welcome. Anyways, I don't know. It's been a negative day. I did see this caught my eye. First of all, support the stream. I got bills to pay, right? Doesn't everybody? If you have money left and the Galactic Empire hasn't taken all of your credits, please consider submitting some to the receptacle website, okay? I got bills to pay. So do that. And then other than that, let's check out this. I saw this video, and the only reason I really clicked on it is it says MAGA comedian Tim Dillon. I don't agree with Tim Dillon and all of his policy positions and his hot takes and this and that, but would you call Tim Dillon MAGA? Like, I understand he said, I lean more conservative before, and I understand he's got some stuff where I'm like, you're fucking retarded if you believe that. But would you call this guy, Tim Dillon, would you call him MAGA? I don't know if that's a thing, but either way, we're going to check out the video. This is from Pondering Politics, Tim Dillon.
Is once again publicly Former MAGA comedian Tim Dillon is once again publicly rebuking the Trump administration, this time over the horrific shooting of an American citizen, 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, at the hands of an ICE agent, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Like, I've only ever seen clips of Tim Dillon. I've never watched his full thing, but I wouldn't call him MAGA. I don't know.
All right, friends, here at Pondering Politics, we continue to track the political divorce between Donald Trump and the MAGA-adjacent, MAGA-curious, right-wing code.
Am I wrong, chat?
Influencers who helped sanitize him and his campaign and bring him back to power in the 2024 election. People like Joe Rogan and Andrew Schultz of the Flagrant podcast, and yes, Tim Dillon. Now, all three of them have featured in videos on this channel before because they are enormously successful. I think Schultz is funny. I think Dillon is even funnier, and they have enormous followings. And they said 2024 was the podcast election. I'm not sure if these podcasters were necessarily outcome determinative, but I do think they played a role in making it cool and acceptable to openly support Trump again. And
that's me, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't be speaking about it. But like I said, I've only ever seen clips. And some of them I'm like, some of them like, yeah, that's pretty much true. And then other ones I'm like, fuck this guy.
I do think that had an impact on the 2024 election. Well, Tim Dillon seems to be a man of principle. So even though he flirts with the right, even though, you know, again, he seemed very supportive.
To be fair, before we finish this video, I want to show you somebody that we, I've shown him here before. I don't think this should be a right versus left topic. I think the right should be just as upset about the shooting in Minnesota, if not more so. So this guy, who I often don't agree with, okay? We've even watched his video, and I'm like, fuck this guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's bullshit. He's lying. Blah, 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 whatever, right? This guy's name's Valhalla VFT. We just recently watched one of his videos where he was trying to debunk the Charlie Kirk thing, but I often disagree with this guy. And he's got a pretty good fucking take on the Minneapolis stuff. So check this out. His audience is pretty pissed at him. We can read some of the comments. Shit like they mentioned the Epstein files. If that's a good one. If Nome says this agent was acting in accordance with his training, none of us are safe. See how easy it is to be labeled a terrorist. Why treat enemy combatants better than we treated women? Notice how they're labeling everyone a terrorist. Oh, well, there's some good comments at the top, I guess. I did read some earlier that was like, oh, you don't understand. He got hit. You're just supposed to let somebody hit you. You're just supposed to do this. You're just supposed to do, like, what the fuck is that all about? Of course, I can't find them now. Anyways, I typically don't agree with this guy or his audience.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And I gotta say, my God, based off the first week of
By the way, this guy's a former Green Beret, all that stuff, military background.
2026 so far, pretty sure 2026 is going to shape up to be the most insane year ever. I mean, just in the first 7 days, what's happened? Yes, the United States has kidnapped a foreign nation's president, refused to release the rest of the Epstein files, threatened to invade about 7 countries, including one of our allies, and now we have George Floyd 2.0 on our hands. And obviously, that's what we're going to be talking about today. You're all well aware of the story. I'm sure it's the biggest story in the news, and that is, yes, yesterday there was a fatal shooting between an ICE officer and a U.S. citizen in a suburban neighborhood. Shot a lady in the face as she was attempting to flee. Okay, and this is extremely emotionally charged. People either believe this is 100% justified by the ICE officer or it's 100% murder. There's really nowhere in between. So we're going to try to take the emotions out of it. Just look at this objectively. We're going to break down what happened, and also we're going to talk about the real legalities of this, because it turns out a lot of people aren't talking about this, but there's already been a Supreme Court case that ruled on literally exactly this situation. So we're going to compare that to the events that happened. All right, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, helps the channel. Let's jump into it, and yeah, let's break this whole thing down. We're going to take a look.
I think it's a Tennessee Supreme Court case. Originated in Tennessee.
Responses from government officials, and again, let's see what the Supreme Court has had to say about this. All right, so first thing we're going to do is actually break this down.
Yeah, we read the CBP study.
Okay, and we're going to break it down in slow motion, because the government is saying that this woman was a domestic keyword and that she was attempting to run over and kill all these law enforcement officers. Let's find out. Let's actually look at this and see if that really makes sense.
No, shit.
So it actually happens pretty quick. We see there, woman's in the middle of the road, ICE officers jump out, rush her car, and then she attempts to flee, and one of those ICE officers shoots her in the face multiple times. Okay, so what's the added context here, right? This can't just be that, right? It had to be what the government was telling us, is that this woman was an agitator. She was down there trying to stop ICE from doing their job. She's trying to block them. She was aggressively being a domestic keyword.
It's not an official name. The internal study from the CBP revealed that agents were frustrated and purposefully stepping in front of cars when a suspect was in a vehicle, so they had pretext to shoot them rather than letting them flee.
Keyword. But when I actually watch back the footage from a different angle, I'm not sure that that story adds up. Let's take a look at this. So this is actually the exact same time span here that we're going to watch.
I think it's a 2014 study.
Camera angle. The camera angle that you've seen on all the viral videos is actually focused on the ICE officers. But if we actually watch this woman in her car, we get a little bit of a different story than that she's there as an agitator or some domestic keyword. Let's actually watch her. Let's see what she does here as she tries to pull out. Oh. Well, wait a second. So it turns out she initially pulls out. There's a car coming in front of her. She waves the car on to go ahead and bypass. That car goes past her. And then the ICE officers who are up next, she actually waves the ICE officers on and says, go ahead, guys, you can go on past. Instead, what happens is they jump out and they rush her vehicle. Now, if she's down there as an agitator and she's down there, which she may have been, I'm just saying, but when I watch the footage, it looks like she's literally waving traffic on to try to let them go by to do their job. Now, that's a little bit different story than we're being painted. All right, now let's actually break down what the officers did and the shooting itself, because this is going to be really important too. All right, first thing to understand, this woman has committed no crime up to this point. Okay, at most you could say misdemeanor because she's blocking traffic or something like that. But again, we saw there was a car in front of her. She waves on, and then immediately ICE jumps out and rushes her vehicle. First thing we notice is, again, she hasn't committed a crime yet, and this law enforcement officer runs up and immediately tries to reach into her vehicle, which is illegal by the way. You need a warrant for that if you've committed no crime, and then tries to yank her out of the car while screaming, "Get the fuck out of the car!"
Yeah.
In all black.
So someone in my comments like, pretty easy. I was like, you guys went really quick from like, don't tread on me to fucking comply or die. Like that crowd totally flipped. And someone's like, oh, pretty easy. Just follow all the laws in the Constitution. If it's constitutional law, then you won't run over a cop and die. And I was like, the Constitution, you mean like the Fourth Amendment protections where this agent can't just run up, jerk on your fucking car handle door and try to drag you out? Though that Constitution? That Constitution? Doesn't tell her she's detained, doesn't move, nothing happens. He just runs up, starts screaming at her and jerking on her car door to drag her out of her car.
With a black ski mask, which, again, who knows? Maybe this woman just panicked because, I don't know, some grown man with all black and a black ski mask just ran up and tried to yank her out of her car door. I'm not sure. We don't know the full context on this yet. What I want you to notice here is the two officers. Okay, you have the first officer who's trying to pull her out of her door. Then you have the second officer right behind here who's supposedly the officer that gets run over, by the way. All right, first major actual failure in police work itself. Okay, this police officer, he actually walks around the vehicle to the backside and then goes and stands in front of the...
He walks around this car twice, putting himself in front of it. And their own training documents are like, never get in front of an occupied vehicle with a suspect in it or whoever.
Vehicle. Okay. Nobody's going to teach you to use your body to block a vehicle in a situation like this. Why? Because now you're actually just putting yourself in a dangerous situation for absolutely no reason. And as we see here, this is going to be important. The car's back.
Fuck, in 2010, we went 2009. I don't even remember. Fucking years ago, right? When we were doing fucking training to like do checkpoints and shit overseas, we knew not to stand directly in front of the vehicle. Like, obviously they know this.
Here, you see the first officer or the second officer back here? He's already reaching for his gun before she's ever even moved forward towards him. The point with that is she has done nothing to threaten his life at the moment, and he is already drawing his weapon on her. All right, we see here, this is important. You can see her front wheel.
I just kind of want his take on it here.
And when we still frame this, it gets really actual legalities.
And he brings up a good point, whether the left wants to admit it or not. A bunch of people were deported under Obama, okay? A bunch of people. Way more than Trump is successfully deporting, right? But somehow he was able to do it without murdering people, making this giant spectacle, running over people, you know, chasing people down, dragging people off job sites. Like, if that's your goal, is to deport a bunch of people, I don't think it is. I don't think that is their goal. Their goal is fear, right? They want the viral clips, and they want people afraid, and they want people hiding and self-deporting. But if your goal is to deport a bunch of people, Obama did it. And we weren't seeing a new fucking clip on Twitter every day. Twitter was around when Obama was there. People being fucking killed by ICE. Or there's this crazy video I'm going to show you guys in a little bit about this DoorDash drive. It's just wild. It's like a 7 or 3, 4, 5 part series on TikTok. But it looks like someone's uploaded the whole video. We'll watch it in a minute.
Of what happened, because I'm seeing all over the place of people saying, well, she attempted to flee, so that gave the officer the right to shoot her in the face. Well, let's see what the Supreme Court had to say about exactly that. So yes, Tennessee v. Garner, 1985. What was about? Memphis police officer shot and killed Edward Garner, an unarmed 50-year-old suspect of burglary. As he was fleeing over a fence at the time, Tennessee law allowed police to use deadly force to stop any fleeing felony suspect. Garner's family sued, arguing that killing an unarmed fleeing suspect violated the Fourth Amendment. And what did the Supreme Court rule? The Supreme Court ruled in 6-3 that using deadly force to stop an unarmed...
You guys ever seen that video where there's like a police chase and there's a guy in an SUV? And finally, towards the end of the police chase, he pulls into like almost like an industrial office-y area, and he pulls into a parking space, and they're telling him to get out of the car, and he's trying to get out of the car, and he like literally opens his doors and starts to get out of the car, and when he lets his foot off the brake, he didn't put it in park, it's still in drive, and it like jumps the little concrete things you park up against, and the fucking like 12 deputies just unload in him.
Non-dangerous fleeing suspect is unconstitutional under the Fourth Amendment. It says here, deadly force may not be used unless the officer has probable cause to believe the suspect poses a significant threat of death or serious physical injury to officer or others. All right, deadly force is allowed if the suspect poses an immediate threat, the suspect is armed or dangerous, the officer has probable cause to think the suspect will cause serious harm. So for what the officer did to be legally justified, it would have to match one of these 3 things, right? The suspect poses an immediate threat. Does the suspect pose an immediate threat? I don't know. Did she pose an immediate threat before they jumped out of her car and rushed her, put a gun in her face? Not really.
Yeah, if the Trump administration was doing what the Obama administration was doing, I don't think they would have nearly as many complaints. The problem is, they're just obsessed with anybody. There's a video, we'll watch it later, where they jerked a guy off a fucking cruise ship. And the agents were sitting around talking about, oh, we knew this was probably, a case of mistaken identity. You just have the same name as someone else, but, whatever. Like, it's so fucking weird the way they're coming at this, unless that's the point. Unless the point is making videos, going viral, having people terrified, and maybe leading to people trying to fight back.
Not really. She was basically stopped in the middle of the road, letting somebody go by her. Tough sell on that one. The suspect is armed or dangerous. We know that she was not armed or dangerous. And the officer has probable cause to think the suspect will cause serious harm. What would be the probable cause to think that if she escaped, by the way, if she fled, that she would go to create further harm? The idea behind this would be, well, if the suspect has already murdered somebody.
I didn't think about this, but I was watching, there's this Tennessee attorney I follow on TikTok named Attorney Christmas. And he said it's always, I figured it was probably bad in front of a jury to have your phone out. Because as an officer, your phone out, obviously you think something's, right? You didn't approach the situation without a bias, right? You thought something was crazy was going to happen and you needed to record it. And I knew that. But he said another thing they see a lot of times when people go to court with their phone out is it's almost like, especially a cop, it's almost like a position of negligence, because when you record with your phone, you're not looking at the person and holding your phone up, right? Typically, you're looking through the phone screen, which is using the camera, which is looking at the person, which opens you up to, would you have seen more? Would you have seen less? Would you have made a different decision if you weren't staring at the phone screen through the camera and a limited field of view?
at a convenience store in an armed robbery, and then they attempted to flee the officer, that would be a justification for that officer to shoot you and put you down because you may actually flee the scene and cause more harm somewhere else. I don't think that this woman matches that character profile. And this is the most important thing right here. Deadly force is not allowed just because the suspect is fleeing, the suspect committed a felony but is unarmed. The officer simply wants to prevent an escape right here. This is exactly what we just saw. The officer simply wanted to prevent escape. And the Supreme Court has ruled deadly force is not allowed because of that. So that's going to take a lot of mental gymnastics to make this woman some threat to the community because she just happened to be stopped in the middle of the road waiting on oncoming traffic, in my personal opinion. But when it comes to law and self-defense law, who knows, right? The government is already trying to paint this as a...
You guys know that woman that we covered a while back on TikTok and people were giving her hell. She didn't vote for Trump. She didn't vote at all. But people were basically, it was a blonde-headed woman. She's a lawyer. People were basically claiming like, oh, you didn't give a fuck until it happened to you. And I was like, we got to cut some people some slack, you know. Anyways, she's moving. She's packing up her entire life. She's leaving her job. She's basically surrendering her law degree because they don't know what other country they're going to go to, and it's probably not going to transfer to another country. She's packing up her kid, and literally she's doing it all by herself because her husband has to stay in ICE custody until the day that they deport him, and she doesn't even know when that is. So she's got to be like constantly ready to move until he actually gets deported, and then they're going to move to that whatever country they send him to.
Picture of this woman being some, again, domestic terrorist. And this is what we're seeing.
I saw a video today. This is really bad for my blood pressure. We shouldn't have done this. But anyways, talking about the hardened criminals and drug dealers and rapists and murderers and what Kristi Noem and Donald Trump like to say they're going after, right? They cornered 3 Mexican roofers on top of a house putting on shingles. They refused to come down, so they called in the fire department with a ladder truck so ICE could get up on the roof and arrest 3 roofers. Like, what fucking harm are they causing anybody?
Donald Trump said, I viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Are you sure? Are you sure she ran him over? And supposedly he's in...
This is another video I made. If the video shows what they claim it shows, why did they have to preemptively lie about it? Why did they have to condition their following like, I don't know if he's going to make it. You'd be surprised. It's a great surprise this officer's even going to live. What would he have died from? Calling somebody a fucking bitch? Like, what?
In the hospital now? Well, that's interesting. Immediately after shooting her, he seemed just fine.
Shame! 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 Shame!
Now, the most horrifying part of all of this was actually the immediate aftermath, and this is probably where ICE is going to find real legal backlash, and that was the fact that after the shooting, there was actually a doctor there on scene, and ICE refused to let the doctor treat and try to save that woman's life.
And no one's acting like it is a situation where their life was just in danger, right? Usually, situation where someone's life was in danger, now it's not, right? It had to be stopped with a discharge of a firearm. There'd be people fucking running everywhere. Everybody's just kind of chill. He walks over to make sure she's dead, comes back, calls 911. I'm leaving, hops in his car. The rest of the agents just casually walking around. They fuck up the entire crime scene. Everybody moves. They let him leave in his car with somebody else. They let the wife go over there and get in the fucking vehicle with her dead spouse. Like, what the fuck? It wasn't just focused at the border. It's basically like I forget what it's called. There's a clause like if you haven't basically like established like a long-term residency. So it was a lot at the border, but it was also people that had been here 2 years or less, or have committed any type of crime, or been convicted, this, that, the other, which is what it should be, right?
As you saw, that woman is laying there,
criminals
in the steering wheel. No one's helping.
Not you had simple possession 30 years ago or whatever, right, for marijuana, but like actual drug dealers and rapists and gang members and convicted of what the fuck ever.
There's no medics on standby. EMS isn't there yet. To not let a physician try to help that woman is horrifying, no matter how you look at this. And this is another thing with this, guys. I see so much already, of course, the divisiveness. People have to pick a side. No matter how you're going to look at this, guys, whether you're right, left, center, this is horrible for the country. I mean, there's no other way to spin this, right? You had an unarmed U.S. citizen shot in the face by immigration officers in a suburban neighborhood. Like, there's no justification that makes this a good thing, whether there's a legal justification for law enforcement officers or not. This is horrible. It's horrible for the country. It's going to cause massive division. It's one of those things that should bring us together, but it's, again, just going to continue to rip the country apart. And this type of stuff doesn't help.
People need to stop using their vehicles as weapons. This domestic act of terrorism to use your vehicle to try to kill law enforcement officers is going to stop. And I'm asking the Department of Justice to prosecute it as domestic terrorism.
Okay, we're going right back to this clip. Again, domestic terrorism.
It was It's a February 2013 study conducted by the Police Executive Research Forum for and by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP. Use of force cases and policies review. That's where they get into officers seemed to be frustrated because their potential targets, or whatever you want to call them, were able to drive away. So instead, they decided to stand in front of the vehicles to have pretext to shoot people in the vehicles.
It's like she was waiting for a car to go by, waved that car on, and then waved on ICE officers so they could continue with their job. And this is how mainstream media is going to cover it.
The woman who lost her life was a self-proclaimed poet from Colorado with pronouns in her bio. A 37-year-old white woman named Renee Good. The Daily Mail says she lives
It's like Jesse Waters is like, she's a lesbian, so she deserved to die. Like, what the fuck are y'all even doing?
behind a lesbian partner and a child from a previous marriage. She was a disruptor, though she considered herself a legal observer.
So, okay, she was a poet and a lesbian, so that justifies her being shot in the face in the street. Like, what are we
Exactly. Like, what the fuck are y'all even talking about?
here? But let's just call this what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. What do you have here? Okay, you probably have a situation. Was this woman agitating? I don't know. I can't really tell from the context of that. But at the same time, what you really have is you have a very poorly trained law enforcement officer who didn't know what he was doing, that put himself in a position.
Here's the relevant part of that study. Based on a review of the submitted cases, it appears CBP practices allows shooting at the driver of any suspect vehicle that comes in the direction of any agent. It is suspected that in many vehicle shooting cases, the subject driver was attempting to flee from the agents who intentionally put themselves into the exit path of the vehicle, thereby exposing themselves to an additional risk and creating justification for the use of deadly force. In most of these cases, the agents have stated that they were shooting at the driver of a vehicle that was coming at them and posing imminent threat to their life. In some cases, passengers were struck by agents' fire. Little focus has been placed on defensive tactics that could have been used by shooting agents, such as getting out of the way. It should be recognized that a half-ounce, 200-grain bullet is very unlikely to stop a 4,000-pound vehicle moving towards you. And if the driver of the approaching vehicle is disabled by that bullet, the vehicle will become a totally unguided threat. Obviously, shooting at a moving vehicle can pose a risk to bystanders, including other agents on scene. The cases suggest that some of the shots at suspect vehicles are taken out of frustration when agents who are on foot have no other way of detaining suspects who are fleeing in a vehicle. Most reviewed cases involved nonviolent suspects who pose no threat other than the moving vehicle. There's little doubt that the safest course for an agent faced with the oncoming vehicle is to get out of the way of the vehicle. And their own policy says that. It says CBP policy, agents shall not discharge their firearms at or from a moving vehicle unless deadly physical force is being used against the police officer or any other person present by means other than a moving vehicle. Yeah, I don't. It's just wild. This was, and he was with CBP when this study was going on. The Jonathan Ross guy.
But he shouldn't have been in, and then panicked and pulled his gun out and shot a woman. That's pretty much the story. Now, there may be legal justifications that they try to use. It's going to be hard, again, to go against that Supreme Court ruling. They can somehow try to justify the fact that, her barely driving by.
I saw Noam get asked, is that Jonathan Ross on that videotape saying fucking bitch after he shoots this woman? And she's like, it's hard for me to tell, but it could be. Just deadpan, dude.
That officer maybe brushed his jacket a little bit. That constitutes as her trying to kill law enforcement officers. Maybe, I'm sure that's what they'll try. But the American people, for the most part, are not going to accept that. And we've already seen the riots and the protests start. Now, this was actually at the scene itself.
Okay, looks like they are throwing snowballs as the officers are leaving. So again, I believe it was a state patrol, and we could see some MPD officers who were leaving that scene. Hennepin County telling us that their sheriff's deputies have not been on that scene, but it looks like as officers are leaving the scene.
Either way, I'm glad this guy stood up. This is the correct stance to have. Even if you're a Trump supporter, even if you're right wing, even if you're whatever, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be shooting fucking people on the goddamn street. Even if you are mad at them, even if they are protesting, even if they are trying to leave while you're trying to jingle their fucking door handle.
Just having some protesters or bystanders, agitators.
Now, I'm not sure I'd call them agitators at this point. I think that is a community of people that just had one of their neighbors shot in the face in the middle of the street, and they're pissed. And I mean, right?
Yeah.
So, also, here's another thing.
As should be.
I thought the entire point of this was to go find violent criminals and gang members. Why do I only see you down in suburban neighborhoods trying to yank people out of Walmarts? What's the whole focus on going after the violent criminals in our country? I don't ever see any footage of that. It's almost like ICE is too scared to go in those neighborhoods. You don't want to go into the gang-ridden areas. And also, deportation numbers are pathetic. I think the real number is around 400,000 people deported in 1 year outside of self-deportations. I mean, you got to ask yourself, Obama deported, 10 plus million people? And how did he do it without all of this craziness? I don't know. We should be asking ourselves that because the Trump administration, by the way, if you're MAGA, has done a horrible job with deportations. The numbers are lower than every other president outside of Joe Biden going back to Clinton. So I'm not even sure what the hell ICE is even out there doing anyway. I'm all about getting violent criminals off the street, but that's not what that looked like that was. And protests are starting all over the country. And I mean, people are already pissed off at ICE already. There's been protests all year. And for me, guys, I mean, I'm pretty far right when it comes to immigration myself, when it comes to policy-wise. But I mean, we got to be able to just look at things objectively like this and go, hey, maybe this isn't good. Hey, maybe immigration officers like rolling into suburban neighborhoods and shooting U.S. citizens in the face in the street, maybe this isn't a good thing for the country. And so if you're somebody that immediately screams, justified, okay, maybe legally we can justify this, but morally, is this the right thing to do? Was there not a better way to maybe handle that situation if you were the law enforcement officer? There probably was. And also for the people involved, right? You hear things like play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's true too, right? If you don't want to get shot in the face by the cops, you know, don't get in the way of law enforcement business. And so I think there's two things that can be true at the same time here, right? What that woman did was probably not okay, although again, that's pushing it pretty far because based off of those videos of me just watching her trying to...
They also found in that same study that agents at the border, when they had like kids and adults as well, but people like throwing rocks across the border, the agents were basically like intentionally trying to get close to where they were throwing rocks so they could fire back, so they could shoot. A lot of times it's teenagers and kids, right? I worked at a power plant for a little while down in Mission, Texas, and the power plant's like right on the fucking border, and we would hear stray shots all the time. Like I was working at the power plant in the turbine compartment, and we could hear fucking people firing and like pings of metal off the intake. Like it was crazy.
Hey, go ahead, ICE officers. Hard for me to believe she's really the terrorist they're painting her out to be. But at the same time, that law enforcement officer had no business pulling his gun out and shooting that woman in the middle of the neighborhood. She's moving at 3 miles per hour when he decided to shoot her, in my personal opinion. So that's where I'm at. I think both sides are wrong, and I think that there probably should be accountability. Or like that can't be the go-to for training. I saw Christy Nolan try to say, oh, well, this is what they're trained to do. That cannot be the go-to. It cannot be the go-to that you...
That can't be the training, dude. That can't be it.
Just immediately jump out of your car, rush some woman who stopped in the street, try to reach into her vehicle, yank her out of her car, and then shoot her in the face when she panics. That ain't it, guys. And so what's going to happen from here? I'm sure we're going to see massive protests, probably riots.
I told you all, like, I would not expect Mariah to handle this situation real well, right? Like, even if she wasn't protesting or being illegal, anything, right? Someone comes running up, and she clearly knows they're law enforcement. I don't know that she would handle this situation well when they're trying to drag her out of her vehicle suddenly.
And Minneapolis just can't catch a break. Huh? I guess it was actually about a mile away from where the George Floyd events happened as well. Also, what's going on with the big Somali fraud schemes and all that. Minnesota is struggling right now for sure. But again, guys, I would say just try to have a little bit of empathy, right? There's a child that no longer has parents right now. And at a minimum, we should not be cheering on government agents shooting unarmed U.S. civilians in the face in the middle of neighborhoods. So that's my personal opinion on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Obviously, very emotionally charged topic, but that'll do it for this one. Catch you on the next one.
All right. And then one more thing before we go back to the video, the comedian, the Tim Dillon video. This is how MAGA has to bend themselves into literal knots to justify things in real time. Watch this.
In real time, class. In fucking real time.
So I'm assuming that you believe that the shooting was unjustified.
Do you not?
I don't know. I think it was justified.
All right. So he thinks the shooting was justified.
Sick. I'm going to play you something, and then I want you to tell me whether or not the use of force is justified. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Great.
All right, everybody sees this video. It's a truck and people in front of the truck, and they're getting pushed, ran over, whatever.
Okay, so that was a guy driving into a line of police officers. Okay. Do you think that like they should have started shooting that guy?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. That was a truck driving into a line of police officers. Do you think the police officers should have shot that guy? Yes, absolutely, he says. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, what if I told you that that was a cop driving through a line of protesters?
Well, are they in the middle of the road?
What? Actually, that was a cop driving over protesters. Well, were they in the road? Comply or die. That's what I've always said.
In real time, class, in fucking real time, you can watch their brains twist and contort and fucking pretzel themselves to try and explain the difference. It's so fucking embarrassing to have you come up here and say shit like this.
Gone, dropped out of the call.
Fucking in real time, you can watch it happen. I'll do it 20 more times tonight. I'll do the same fucking thing. And in real time.
That's cute.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you people. Okay? Oh God. Somebody clip that and put that on fucking CNN tomorrow. In real time, class.
Insane. Well, what were they doing in the road? Back to Tim Dillon.
Of Trump's campaign in 2024, he has been consistently outspoken in criticizing Trump ever since Trump got back into power, because, of course, Trump is a liar and a hypocrite and not consistent and not principled, and he's a narcissist and he's wildly corrupt.
Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm only seeing the clips of Tim Dillon after he started criticizing Trump for not doing the things. Maybe that's it.
I want you to hear what Tim Dillon has to say about the shooting of Renee Nicole Good, many of whom, myself included, regarded as murder.
Then you have ICE. And who the
Brett Zelder.
These are people that like answered an ad on Craigslist. I mean, these people, who is joining ICE? I mean, these people are so shot. The people who are joining ICE are so shot. You know, they don't have anything going on. These are people who like a mall threw out because they couldn't do like security at a mall. They I don't know what they did, but they're out now. They maybe attacked a child or something. So I don't know who's, they got ICE in there.
So he's talking about the recruitment standards for ICE being, just lax with each passing year because they're trying to inflate the numbers, right? They're trying to, beef up ICE as humanly possible, making it basically, Donald Trump's personal Praetorian Guard, very harrowing. And as a consequence of that, you would...
By the way, I don't know. I'm guaranteeing MAGA doesn't give a fuck. But they are now suggesting that because it's so dangerous to be an ICE officer, what they should do instead is shut down entire blocks, 1 block to 10 blocks or whatever of a city, and go door to door, make everybody come outside and show documentation. That should be fucking terrifying. That is the Gestapo. Like, what are you talking about? That's the suggestion coming from the administration.
See lesser candidates. You would see substandard, suboptimal candidates flock to join this organization, which seems to increase the likelihood that bad shit would happen.
These like ICE raids, which are kind of performative and cruel and a bit psychotic, are not doing this administration any favors. I think they're making people less concerned with immigration enforcement because they're equating all immigration enforcement to these random brutal raids where you see people that have been here 30 years like hogtied and thrown into a van.
What disguise? Oh, because he's got glasses on? I don't know. I used to wear glasses all the time. I had a fake set of glasses.
And he's right. We're seeing this bear out in the polling. Remember that when Donald Trump got elected, he had 2 primary pillars of success policy-wise.
My glasses were my things for a long time. That's why Scott McKay in that song says he's got his fucking aviators on.
The economy and immigration. Those were the 2 key pillars of his popular appeal, right? People thought he would be better on the economy than President Biden and the Democrats. People thought that he would better handle immigration than President Biden and the Democrats. And within months, he was underwater on both issues. Why? Why and how is it that in such a fraction of the time, Trump just effortlessly squandered his own?
I don't even understand how Trump, how they're doing so badly on their immigration numbers. Like that's the number one thing, right? And they're not even they're probably on pace to pass Biden, but that's about it.
His own political capital and got underwater with the American people on both of these issues. These ICE raids aren't helping. These ICE raids are not helping. Again, you can go look. There are at least some prominent conservatives out there, or again, people like Tim Dillon and Andrew Schultz and Joe Rogan, who, if not right-wing or outright MAGA, are certainly right-wing libertarian. I mean, they are not hostile to Trump, at least on posture. They're not, liberals in the sense where their default is fuck Trump, right? Or even they're like, dude, you lost me here. You lost me here. People are not happy and do not support ICE in its current iteration. And that is no one's fault but Trump's.
Justifiable anger. This woman got shot in the head. I think I didn't have to do it. You watched the video. Was it smart for her to accelerate or try to get away and not obey his command? Well, clearly not. She's dead. But did he feel like he was going to die if he didn't shoot her 3 times in the face? I don't believe that. He's shooting her from the side of the car in the window.
I agree with this. I'm sorry. I don't believe. And of course, I'm not in law enforcement. I guess it's easy for me to say that, but I'm sorry. I don't. I don't want to say this. What we're hearing a lot from MAGA, and it's deeply frustrating, is this idea, and especially coming from MAGA and the right wing, which supposedly want weak and limited government, and they're the party of personal accountability and don't tread on me and all this bullshit, is this presumption baked into their defense of this ICE shooter, Jonathan Ross, that, well, if he had concerns about his safety, he's free to do whatever the hell he wants. No, I mean, we used to believe in this idea that with great power came great responsibility. And the right certainly believes that when the left is in power, then it's like, no, then the people in power, be they government bureaucrats or federal agents or the president of the United States, if it's in a Democratic administration, oh shit, they've got to have stratospherically high standards to exercise that power. But when the right's in power, man, if you got a badge and a gun and somebody sneezes at you, you're free to just unload a clip. I was in fear of my safety. If you sneeze at me, how do I know that you're not, how do I know that you don't have the flu and that, I'm not going to catch the flu, which I mean, flu kills people. So, I mean, with great power comes great responsibility. I'm sorry. An ICE officer, a police officer, and it doesn't matter if it's federal, state, or local, and it doesn't matter if it's in a Democratic administration or Republican administration, precisely because you have a badge and a gun, and you are empowered to not only deprive people of their liberty, but their life under certain circumstances, you have a higher standard and should be held to a higher standard and should be scrutinized more than a citizen. In other words, Renee Nicole Good, the citizen who was shot and killed and, in my opinion, murdered, and Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent who shot her, they are not equal in standards because they're not equal in power. Ross had more power and therefore should be held to a higher standard. So if Renee Nicole Good screwed up, I'm not saying that you can't criticize that or that doesn't factor in, but ICE agent Jonathan Ross shooting up is infinitely worse because he had the badge and the gun. I'm sorry. This idea that the citizen has a greater obligation and should be held to a higher standard than the officer is insane. And it's just not something that we instinctively as Americans agree to. The only reason MAGA is adopting that criticism here, well, no, the ICE agent can do whatever he wants. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he felt or thought. He could act as unreasonable as possible or be as ridiculous as possible. She should just know what she told. And like, bro, you would never accept that under any other circumstances, nor should you. I'm sorry. If you have power, be it as a cop or a teacher or a firefighter or a judge or a president of the United States or a soldier, whatever, you should be held to a higher standard than your average American citizen, left or right. Sorry. But MAGA has totally abandoned that principle. And that's what Tim Dillon is calling out. Like, okay, again, you can criticize her behavior, but what about him? He doesn't get a blank check to do whatever the fuck he wants. That's the point. But to MAGA, he does.
I had to have all of that explained to me by a 6-year-old at the Cheesecake Factory who was eating with his parents. And I said, do you mind if I show your son a video of what happened in Minnesota? And they said, yeah, that's fine. And I go, I want to get a read on this. They go, yeah, he's pretty good with stuff like this. I go, this isn't going to like, he won't have nightmares or anything. They go, he doesn't really care. And I explained to him, I said, listen, I want to show you a video. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. What's the deal? And then he said to me, listen, it's just literally word for word. He said, it is clear from this video that while she may or may not have been engaged in obstructing ISIS operations, which would be maybe laudable depending on your point of view, but unlawful, clearly. He said, but from this video, we can see that the acceleration does not get to the point where the officer fears for his life enough to justifiably shoot her 3 times in the face.
That kid from Chuck E. Cheese is right. I'm sorry, I just don't buy this idea that if a vehicle moves in your direction, you are entitled as an ICE officer or as a cop of any kind to shoot the driver. Now, if it's coming at you 60 miles per hour, if it's coming at you at a high rate of speed where it could, reasonably cause serious harm or kill you, that's different. But that's not what happened. But again, MAGA doesn't care. Let's hear more from Tim Dillon.
I don't believe the cop was justified in shooting her 3 times in the face. By the way, I've always believed this, and this is something that I've caught heat for, but I've literally believed it since I'm a kid. I don't believe you should ever shoot someone in the face more than once. No, seriously, I just think it's ridiculous. So that they did that, and they, the guy, these are not well-trained law enforcement people in ICE right now. We're taking people that did backyard wrestling. I mean, the people that are in ICE right now this is your cousin who, was in backyard wrestling. This is tough. This is not the cream of the crop. The guys that kidnapped Maduro, like Delta Force, Navy SEALs? This is not them. This is not the Delta Force, Navy SEAL people. This is people that, this is people in their 3rd grade report card that teach you whether it has violent tendencies. This is not, it just is what it is.
And again, I think it's fair to say that, we're starting to see a reduction in ICE standards as a consequence of the numbers that they're trying to surge, right? Although this ICE officer in question, I think his tenure with ICE predated the Trump administration's expansion of the agency. So, it's not, I don't know if he's qualified or not, but if he's not qualified, it's not because of recent Trump standards, because he preceded Trump there. So one last clip from Tim.
Maybe it's because you talk in sentences that don't make any sense.
Dillon about MAGA's reaction.
Then why are we considering MAGA? We don't agree with your narrative. Okay.
To Good's death, the excuses for it notwithstanding, just the glee and the schadenfreude and cruelty.
So we have those people, and then we have people that are cucking for law enforcement no matter what they do. And those people are celebrating this, and celebrating death is ghoulish. It was ghoulish with Kirk. It's ghoulish now. And I think that people have to understand that if we're going to have a civil society, if anyone has any interest in having a civil functioning society, you're going to have better trained people in those roles so that things like this don't happen.
Agreed. So again, folks, I think it's
made them like the 17th largest military budget or some shit.
The political journey of the influencers and comedians, again, who are either right-wing, right-adjacent, MAGA curious.
You might as well go ahead and leave, you dumb cunt.
People who, were unnecessarily and ridiculously credulous of Trump in the Trump campaign, but are now turning against him and consistently speaking out against him on principle, not just because it's good to see Trump supporters leave Trump, but when there's...
Dragging these nuts down your fucking face.
Influential as Tim Dillon and Andrew Schultz and Joe Rogan are, it's just objectively better for the opposition to Trump, which we all are. If you're watching this, you are almost certainly. It's better for us that this happened. So appreciate Tim Dillon speaking up on this and not being a bloodthirsty ghoul. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.
That was the Tim Dillon. At least they're standing up to him, right? Some people are. Most of them just saw what Trump put on Truth Social, saw what Kristi Noem said, and then boom, that's what they agree with, right? That's what they agree with. That's it. Let's go here. This was a wild story, dude. Thank God this woman's safe. So basically, she was delivering DoorDash. This woman ordered DoorDash. When her delivery driver shows up, it's a woman. She's the DoorDash person. As she's coming towards the house, cops come out of fucking nowhere. ICE comes out of nowhere. Jerks open all the doors on the woman's car. Now, she's at the door of the house. They jerk open the car doors at the road and drag somebody out. Throw them in the back of a car. The woman, the DoorDash delivery driver, panics and tries to run inside this house. Just watch this whole situation play out. I hope it's all here. It was like a 4 or 5 part series on TikTok plus a response. If it's not, we'll go find the rest of the videos.
Get one, then they're going to break the door down.
That's fine, but
Basically, the situation we're in right now is the DoorDash lady is already in the house, and ICE is beating on the fucking door, telling them that you have to open this door, you have to give us that lady. If you don't, we'll get a warrant, and if we have to get a warrant, we'll charge you with obstruction.
I don't want to open the door.
And the woman and man that live in the house are freaking out, calling people, asking them what the fuck to do.
They don't have a warrant. Because this was my DoorDash lady. I don't even know the lady. She just ran to my house.
By the way, I don't think they can get anybody. I think it's bullshit. I know they're telling people this, but you demanding a warrant for someone to enter your house, I don't think they could get anybody on obstruction charges. That's your right.
All right.
I have a baby.
You have no idea whether the person that ran inside is illegal or not, right? You have no fucking idea. Whether it's not like an escaped fugitive you saw on the news and you helped break them out or some shit. You have no fucking idea. And that's not, half the time they have no idea. Half the time they have no idea. God damn, I'm glad your dad's got cancer. Hopefully it runs in the family, Dragon Lady.
Here, like, I really don't know what to do. I'll open the door if the police, say that I have to open the door, but, like, I don't.
You made my fucking week. Finally, that God in the sky is spreading out some karma.
I don't know what to do. This lady just was shot yesterday. Now I ordered fucking food and there's people outside my fucking house.
Cheyenne, I'm on my way, okay? All right.
What do I do? What do I
Dumb
do?
cunt.
What do I do? I'm so scared. James, come down.
So that's her boyfriend. They're both calling people like, what should we do? I shouldn't even be on this lady's property.
What?
You lost all rights to a civil conversation when you called the woman who was executed by police that stupid bitch or whatever you said.
They ordered DoorDash and now there's ICE agents around my house because the lady ran in my house and I don't know what to do because I don't know. They have no warrant. They have.
If you run on ivermectin, call me up. I'll come over there and give you some penicillin.
No warrant. They were
Dragon Lady.
I don't know what to do. I called the police. The police are on their way. I can't ignore it. I have a baby here and they have guns pointing everywhere in my house. I have some random lady in my house. I have my child barricaded.
They're looking at our backyard too.
They're looking at everything. They're everywhere. All because I ordered some fucking.
So something's gonna happen right here. The lady calls the police, the local sheriff, and the local sheriff says, hey, we're not coming out there. We're telling you this, we're telling you that, we're doing this, we're doing that. Hope you get cancer. Bye. Anyways, she tries to give the lady up, but she's got a kid inside, and ICE is threatening to fucking kick down her door and shit. Like, it's pretty bad.
DoorDash food. I don't.
The only videos I've seen of ICE tampering with security cameras was all over in Charlotte, and they stopped that shit real quick. But not to say it doesn't happen anyways.
What to do? I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack. This is the lady's license plate. They already took someone out of her car. I called the police. The police are on their way. I asked for a warrant. I just fucking ordered some fucking food and then
They're everywhere. They're here. They're in the neighbor's yard. They're in the backyard. They're out front. They got cars. They're in the driveway. She thinks, the woman on the phone here, the homeowner, thinks that it could have been her child that got pulled out of the car, like a teenage child, because he said the person looked smaller. I watched the explainer video, but it was actually her husband. They come to find out. And they're trying to get the wife here.
some lady ran in my house.
The DoorDash lady ran in our house.
Well, bitch, I do. I do. I wish all kinds of fucking bad on you. Every bit of it. Right after you come into my fucking chat and called that lady that was fucking executed by police a bitch. So now, super AIDS, mega cancer. I hope your entire body turns into a tumor. The fuck out of here. Why are you still talking?
This dude just has his hand on his gun, just fucking chilling.
I don't want them to come in my house.
Your very first comment was anybody with a brain and rational thought that watches that video, all three of them in slow motion, you see that crazy bitch hit him. I wish horrible fucking things on you and your lineage.
Even if they get the warrant, they're coming in your house. They're not going to leave. So we need to come up with a solution. Do this peacefully, right?
Oh my God.
This sounds like she might be talking to her mom or somebody like that on this part.
I own this property.
Oh my God. I need to, hold on, my neighbor's calling. Hold on. Hello?
The only thing that saves this lady here is that, yeah, it seems like a Facebook bitch, doesn't it? These people lie. When they say, like, I don't wish bad things, they do. They might not do it to me or to you in chat or whatever, but listen to them talk about any Democrat on TV. Right? Listen to the horrible things they fucking say about people. Right? The horrible fucking things they say about the deserving death and this and they did that and this one's a man and that one's gay and deserves to die and go to hell and special place in hell. They do. They just, when someone sends it back to them, they're like, I would never wish ill upon my opponents. Get the fuck out of here.
They said they're gonna get a warrant to come in here because we ordered some DoorDash.
Oh, anyways, the only thing that saves this lady right here is the neighbor showing up. The people come out, right?
And some lady ran in our house. So now we don't know what to do. I don't think the police are gonna do anything because I don't know what to do. I'm just waiting for the warrant.
You have a want of fugitive in your house.
I don't know what to do, man. This is scary.
It's gonna get worse, dude. Because you don't even know her.
Listen to this. It's going to get worse, dude. And you don't even know her. She's a fucking human. Fuck you.
Can I just get a warrant? I just want a warrant, man. I got my child in here. This shit happened yesterday and
If you give her to us, nothing happens. If we wait,
You give her to us, nothing happens.
it's gonna get worse. Our SWAT team's gonna come. We have an active warrant for this person.
If we wait, it gets worse. The SWAT team's going to come. We got an active warrant trying to scare them into it.
Why do you make it worse? We don't want to deal with nothing with you.
Do you have your ID?
Huh?
She said she has her ID on her.
Yeah, we already run the place. We've identified her. We saw her.
Hold on.
We're looking for her.
Okay. You put your
All this is a scare tactic. You'll see in a minute that when people from the community come out and start yelling and telling them, like, what the fuck are you doing and recording them, they all leave.
hand off. Take your fucking hand. Stop. Okay. If I open this door, one, you're not coming in my house. I will give you her. This is her ID.
They said
She is a U.S.
They
citizen.
said they ran her plate.
This was my fucking DoorDash.
They
The
said-
fact that you are guys are torment. I'm Native American.
So the problem with most people think that they're here legally, but Trump has canceled all kinds of things and revoked all kinds of things. A lot of people don't even know. Did you see the guy that they fucking picked up at Walmart and he's screaming, I'm a U.S. citizen, and they shove him in the back of the car. He falls. They pick him up, shove him back in. Then they just drive around with him and end up dropping him off a couple blocks later, and he comes back in tears, like a full-grown man, crying and stumbling and shit. I don't know what the fuck they did to him.
American. My fucking family already died for y'all to work here. Hung by Abraham motherfucking Lincoln. 38 plus 2. So the fact that y'all are on a Native American's fucking house is pissing me the fuck off. I will open this fucking door when I have the fucking decency to open this door, since you guys are pointing fucking guns at me. I will fucking open it.
Like, I would love to be like, I'd be the person that stands here and says, fuck you, you're not coming in, go get a warrant, go get the SWAT team, whatever. You also got kids in there. Like, you just saw them kill somebody the day before. Who's to say they're not going to come in and start screaming, you know, you fucking jumped at them or some shit, or threatened them somehow and they fucking kill you or your kid.
But you guys are not coming in my house. You guys will not shoot anybody. You did yesterday.
And you had your hand on your gun this whole time you've been here,
You had
dude.
your hand on your gun the entire time.
We have it all right here. You're fucking live.
Get off my yard and I will open the door to let her out. Go up to the car, because I don't feel comfortable I have a 2-year-old. I have a 1.5.
It doesn't matter if you showed them a U.S. birth certificate right here. They've already declared that those aren't real. They don't care. But they still arrest people with U.S. birth certificates. I don't think that they fully comprehended or don't care that a lot of people have similar or the same names. You fucking retards.
5-year-old baby.
I follow 4 people on Facebook that have my name just because I thought, that's weird. They have my exact name.
3 more in school. I have 3 more in school. Hello?
Hey, Cheyenne, this is Commander Hinky with the Sheriff's Office calling.
So this is Sheriff's Department called them, basically saying we're not coming out there.
Yeah.
So I understand that you're fighting right now.
I'm gonna move out.
I'm going to, but move.
Please.
You have 2 options, right?
God, I hope they drag her dad out of fucking a hospice bed, throw him in the back of a fucking ice car, drive him around for a while.
So either let the legals come in and take care of them, but going from the Sheriff's Office is gonna show up there, because that's all I can tell you. I would just be able to tell you the same thing in person.
Okay, but what do I do?
Well, I think that choice is up to you.
She said basically the cop told her like, hey, you either let her out or let them come in, but nobody from the sheriff's office is going to show up and help you.
Yeah, those are...
Which is fucked. Like, at minimum, the sheriff's department ought to be able to come in and be cooler heads, especially even if the sheriff's department knows like, hey, you got to give her up. Like, they could come there and be mediation because the sheriff's department didn't just shoot somebody in their state yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, they could be the guy on the porch is like, hey, we're going to remain calm. They're going to stay over there. I'm going to come in, right? I don't even have a gun on me. I'm going to come in. This lady's going to walk out with me, and we'll hand her over, and then they do whatever they do. You know what I mean? But saying, like, nobody's coming. Here's your choices. Good luck.
This thing will charge us.
You need to come with me. Come on.
I have family.
This is horrible. God, this is bad.
Come with me, ma'am. Come
There's
on.
nothing we can do.
Come on.
There's nothing we can do.
Come on. Just come on.
My friend Doug was in a group that sold these patches that made you basically invulnerable, right? You would live forever. He had 37 patches on him when he died. But who's to say he wouldn't have died like 2 years before that? You know what I mean?
Ma'am, I'm so sorry. I don't want to do this. Come on. Come on.
Oh my God.
I don't know what to do. I'm Native American. This is against everything I stand for. What the fuck do I do, man?
What the fuck is... I know this is a very sad video. What the... please be a belts. We're going to call it a belt and move on, chat. I don't like how it's flared at the head. We're going to call it a belt and just go on.
I need you to come up.
I'm sorry.
I can't.
Putting these people in this position is just fucking horrible. This is traumatizing. These people are going to have fucking PTSD and shit.
One thing you can consider is, like you said,
Don't. No guns.
No guns.
Anybody. No shooting anybody.
It's okay. No guns. No guns. No nothing.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, God, you remember how creepy and horrible he was being with those women in his hotel room? Where he's like, I got the hot babes with me, Mike. Like, ooh.
I don't know what to do. I'm so sorry.
There we go. No Patch Doug in the chat.
I have TikTok followers. I have this going on my TikTok. I have 11,000 followers. I will let everybody. What is your name? What is your name? What is your name? Let me see. What's your name? Okay,
And like, yeah, she's upset because she's scared to death with what I said. She's like, she's heard the stories, right? Who knows if she even is here illegally. And they just drug her husband from the car.
Ma'am, the police said I have to let you go. Ma'am.
Yeah, the sheriff's department definitely should show up.
I don't know what to do. No,
they won't hear you. They won't hear you.
How could you do this to your own fucking people? That's insane. I don't fucking care. Y'all didn't have no fucking...
Both Doug and Mike Penny's dead? Did I miss that? Or did I already know that? Maybe I just rewrote my history or something.
Warrant.
Just give her some time.
Just give her some fucking time. Y'all just shot someone in Minnesota. I ordered DoorDash. My fucking DoorDash. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm Native American. Get the fuck off my yard until she comes that way. You don't even have a fucking warrant. But I'm not going to go to fucking jail because y'all pieces of shit ain't got nothing better to do because you're...
Oh, yeah. I think I knew this. I don't know. I've repressed it or something. Yeah, it was back last fall, right?
I still want to suck your fucking dick.
Very dead. Would you check him?
Someone in Minnesota, I ordered DoorDash. My fucking DoorDash. Are you fucking kidding?
You're right.
I'm Native American. Get the fuck off my yard until she comes that way. You don't even have a fucking warrant. But I'm not going to go to fucking jail because y'all pieces of shit ain't got nothing better to do because your wife still want to suck your fucking dick.
Because your wives don't want to suck your fucking dicks. This is not how they should be handling this. Right? Again, this is insane, dude. Like, unless your goal is to scare people, to have people terrified, why would you ever do anything that results in a social media video like this? Did you see the new technology they have where they roll up and they start tracing everybody's phones and movements and pinning them to people? Like, basically, it doesn't allegedly, it doesn't like read your texts and messages, but basically they'll see somebody walking and they'll start pulling data, like location data, and data about like if the phone's unlocked or locked, what apps are being used, what it's connected to, the Wi-Fi is connected to, and they'll build patterns of people. That way, if they're looking for somebody that's been wandering around or whatever, they know when you go to take a shit or when you step out on the back porch or when you're headed to your car.
Fucking puta.
They just bought a bunch of those systems. No, it's something new. Hold on.
pagan de las familias. Digo, mis dos niñas solas. They already took her kid. I don't know what to do. I have a baby. They were literally telling me that if I don't, the cops are even telling.
I guess I described it to where it sounds like exactly like a fucking stingray, but they bought a new thing. Grok's been generating child porn. That's always good. Materials obtained by 404 Media shed new light on how the surveillance tools Tangles and Weblock from a company called Pinlink can provide information to ICE agents after the agency contracted for the services in September. The social media and phone surveillance platforms can be used to monitor neighborhoods or city blocks from mobile phones and track devices over time, potentially revealing where people live, work, and visit. Pinlink purchases vast troves of commercial location data to augment and expand the dragnet. So they're basically using this data to pinpoint people without you having to connect to anything, right? It's through your service provider. So you don't like connect to it through Wi-Fi. It's very large, but I guess the tool is a better way to take in all this data and sift through it. Because like a Stingray, you connect to it. It looks like a Wi-Fi hotspot or whatever, or maybe your phone automatically connects to it, and then they start monitoring everybody. This is, they're buying data from your cell phone providers for a geolocated area, and they have some type of tool to bring that down and be like, okay, this person is doing this at this time, and here's their patterns, here's their movement. It's a very dangerous tool in the hands of out-of-control agency. This granular location information paints a detailed picture of who we are, where we go, who we spend time with. Nathan Freed Wessler, Deputy Project Director of the American Civil Liberties Union Speech, Privacy and Technology Project, told 404 Media. I need to look more into it, but it's called Weblock, W-E-B-L-O-C, and Tangles, T-A-N-G-L-E-S. It combines social media metadata, phone surveillance, and randomized data from your cell phone provider. All of it can be queried without a warrant. According to internal ICE legal analysis shared with 404 Media, the purchase comes squarely during ICE's mass deportation effort and continued crackdown on protected speech, alarming civil liberty experts and raising questions on what exactly ICE will use the surveillance system for. It gives them detailed pictures of who we are, where we are, who we hang out with, what we're posting online.
The door, they'll literally charge me with harboring. I don't know what to do. Come here, ma'am. Come here.
So when she's screaming, "Come here, ma'am," this is where her community finally showed up.
Your family, okay?
I ordered DoorDash. This lady ran into my house. They don't have a warrant, but they told me I was going to be charged with harboring.
They were going to break down my door.
They were going to break down my door. I already did. The police told me to give them up to her,
the police are saying we can't keep her in here.
She's from Minnesota.
So it says that Weblock is a tool that gathers location data from hundreds of millions of mobile devices, primarily harvested by third-party data brokers who acquire it through an app and user data and online advertising identifiers. It allows ICE agents to query specific locations, monitor device movement patterns, potentially revealing individuals' home and work addresses, daily routines, and associates over time. Tangles is the AI-powered intelligence technology tool that scrapes this data and analyzes data from the open, deep, and dark webs, as well as public social media accounts. It builds detailed profiles by linking a person's posts, location history, comments, specific keywords, photos using face detection, and other social connections to build a database around the same people.
Minnesota. She has a Minnesota license.
And how are you guys going to wear the police symbol if you guys aren't police?
You're literally talking to her in Spanish. I hope they turn on you and take your family, because that's what you're doing to people.
So see, these people that showed up, these people actually know the law and what's going on.
You're separating family.
They took her kid.
It was actually her husband.
To do my babies inside. I did call the police. The police told me that
They're gonna help
they
us.
told us that we have to open the door
We have two
or
options: get charged with harboring or fucking release her.
The police should be on their way, but I don't know
And
what
why
to
don't
do.
you guys have a search warrant? Where is it?
Where's the paper?
Show me federal judge
Where's the paper? Where's the warrant, guys?
Fucking warrant! First off!
Yes, you have permission to be on our yard. No, I don't give ICE permission to be on my fucking yard.
This is our
That's what-
property. You guys
I own
get
this
out.
property.
I own this property.
I told you guys multiple times, if you don't have a warrant, you're not able to access in my house. I took a law course, I know. I'm not fucking stupid.
I can't understand what she's saying.
Good, she's terrified.
That's why I'm trying to reassure her.
You're not.
If it was me and I was doing any of this stuff, I would probably buy like a Faraday bag and a burner phone. Or leave it at home.
Reassure her.
No, es mentira. Usted no separa de los babies. No.
I don't know what to do. I called the police, but I don't know what to do. A woman was just killed in Minnesota yesterday from you guys, and you guys think that we're gonna just take this shit lightly? Literally, you just shot and killed someone yesterday, and you can put on your shit and go to work, and that shit just sits right with you? What the fuck is wrong with you guys? You guys are modern day Nazis. My fucking family got killed. Native Americans got killed for you guys to put on that fucking shit. Bullshit.
No, mis hijos, yo me voy con
Fucking
mi niña,
bullshit.
yo no me voy sin mi niña.
So nowadays we can't order DoorDash without ICE showing up to our house, right? I have a baby! A baby!
Get the fuck out of here!
Get out! Until you guys have a warrant signed, get off my fucking property now!
So she grows some backbone here and it's like, no, we're done. Go get the warrant. Fuck it. But I think it's because there's other people here telling her that's the right thing to do and kind of supporting her and helping her yell and assert herself, right? Because before she was really scared.
Now!
I want judge papers!
I want a signed paper! You don't come near my house because you're the one that has your hand on the gun the whole time!
The whole fucking time you cut their hand!
I have it all on video! I have 11,000 TikTokers right now!
Get the fuck off my property!
11,000 TikTok
There goes the walk of shame.
followers that I have!
A judge fucking
11,000 followers I have on fucking TikTok!
You guys aren't wanted
Get the
here!
fuck off my yard until you have a judge's signature!
Off my property!
I hope you guys sleep real good at fucking night. Don't ever come back to my fucking house. Cause I will sue you. I will sue the fuck out of every one of you. You don't know who the fuck I am. Remember that.
You don't even deserve a police vest, motherfucker!
By the way, you know how we found the training documents for ICE that basically said, well, this is our standard operating procedure, how we operate around vehicles? DHS has went back through and redacted all those documents. Every document you pull up now, it says it has the top paragraph, it says here's why we have this process. And then the part on the bottom that's pertinent to all their stuff, all blacked out.
Where's your badge? You ain't got one.
Where's your papers? Where's your badge?
You guys are illegal on stolen land. You guys are illegal on stolen fucking land. Illegal on native fucking land. I am Midwalker to Dakota. Midwalker to Dakota. Do you know what that means? I am not illegal. Get the fuck out of here. Get out. I'm 4.9
Look at this. I'll show you the update to that in just a second. Look at this. ICE Directive 19009.3, firearms and use of force. The purpose and backgrounds here, redacted. 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 7 pages. Their use of force authorization. Firearms and use of force doctrine. It was there before the shooting in Minnesota. They did end up taking the husband. It was there before Renee Good was fucking killed. Kind of weird, huh? We actually pulled from this. One of the shows I was reading this document. Every other administration has had it up. They claimed, so this B7E is a specific redaction that claims records must be protected that would disclose law enforcement investigation or prosecution techniques, procedures, or guidelines. But it's their use of force requirements. Wild, huh? Every other administration has had it up. Every other administration is public. Even other branches, right? This is ISIS, right? But the FBI's is public. The ATF's is public. The DEA's is public. Only ICE. Because their own person didn't follow their own use of force. And people use that against them, saying, well, look, he shouldn't have even been there in the first place, kind of deal. Nope. Gone. You can't even read it now. All right, here's the update.
I'm going to try to update you guys the best I can right now. My brain is shot. I just want to answer some questions that I can think of. And then another time when I'm actually processed what the fuck just happened, I'll talk about it more. So, first and foremost, the lady is safe. I know a lot of you guys were wondering. She's safe. That's all I'm going to say, due to her safety. You know. The person that they pulled out of the car was her husband. I didn't see this at the time because I was putting my groceries inside and I was at my table. So when she had already ran in my house, that's when they were taking her husband. But I didn't see. So I just assumed that it was her kid because when I'd seen them in the car, she kind of looked smaller. Anyways, I'll explain this another time. There was a group of people out there helping me, and I want to say thank you so much to those bystanders that show up, because honestly, I don't know if I could have done it without them. That was a really scary situation, and all I could think about was if I don't open this door, there's a 50-50 chance that they're going to barge in here and shoot me in front of my child. So ultimately, that's what made me not want to open the door. And then when you have officers threatening you, that just scares you, and yeah, it's insane. And I don't think anyone will really understand how anyone feels until you're put in that position. Anyways, enough about me. Going back to the lady. Her husband's name is Brandon Stephen Sands. His last name is spelled S-A-E-N-C. Brandon Stephen Sands. Probably saying the last name wrong, but that's how it's spelled. I asked someone that was there that day, because some people have been in contact with her for her safety reasons. I didn't want to be, just in case the less information I have, the better. So I just asked the person, is there anything, she wants to say to you guys that have watched what has happened? And she said, we have never committed crimes and are good people. And I think that one right there just really fucking hurt. Because what the fuck, I don't know. I'm still in a lot of shock. So I don't know if I'll be posting as much. Maybe I just gotta process a lot of shit. And yeah, I just wanted to update you guys on her. But if you guys can find any updates about her husband, that would be great. We sent her an immigration lawyer. So yeah, we are in contact with her and trying to definitely help her. I'm going to try to update you guys the best I can right now. My brain is shot. I just want to answer some questions.
So that's the update. I don't know if she did any more.
Hi, my relatives. Hi, everybody.
In the day.
Hi, Hi guys, I'm making this video. This is the lady that is in the TikTok video. She said it's okay that I shared her profile. So yeah, this is her name, and I would love for you guys to go follow her, and that way you guys can directly help her. I will still have the GoFundMe going, and I'm going to have that set up, and then me and her are going to figure out a way to get the funds to her safely. So yeah, but if you guys wanted to check out her profile, give her a follow, give her some support, that would be great, because she is also going through such a traumatic experience as well. And yeah, she said she's so thankful, and that, you know, she's just really happy that there's good people out there. So this is my update on her, and I will keep you guys posted on what's to come. Thanks, guys. Hi guys, I'm making this video. This is the lady that is in the TikTok video. She said
I doubt she's updated it, but we can check it out. Yeah, that's a picture. That's that poor couple. That's the guy there, I think. The whole thing's fucking insane, dude. That they're putting anybody in this position is wild. The fuck is wrong with us, dude?
I've got a very interesting exchange where Senator Rand Paul, a Republican, a libertarian Republican, appeared on Fox News with Maria Bartiromo and explained to Maria, none of these justifications for what Donald Trump did in Venezuela are making any sense. It's a sort of devastating exchange precisely because of how small and calm it is. Maria Bartiromo is trying to run interference for Trump, and she does it with a familiar script. This is about fentanyl, or as they like to call it, fentanyl, and human trafficking. But Rand Paul knows that that's not true. And he goes, Venezuela is not producing fentanyl. And it goes downhill from there. This is very interesting.
I think bombing another nation's capital and removing their president is an act of war. Anybody who argues otherwise, I think, has a very difficult argument. So, yes, the Constitution indicates this should go to Congress first.
Well, I mean, you know, in that soundbite we played, you were arguing that, look, you know, I mean, are we going to go and remove somebody in Saudi Arabia? I mean, with all due respect, I think the goal here is to stop the drug and human trafficking into America. And I don't think Saudi Arabia is sending fentanyl into America.
Well, neither is Venezuela. Venezuela doesn't export any fentanyl at all.
Well,
in
what
fact,
about
their
cocaine?
main product.
What about cocaine?
Well, there is some argument, yes, on the cocaine front that there are people within that country. There are also people within several countries in South America that are producing cocaine. What I would say is, look, there's no love lost for Maduro. I've written a book, The Case Against Socialism. I'm glad he's gone. I've described how teenagers are scrounging for food in Venezuela. Socialism is bad, but there's a bigger picture here also between us making this decision. For 30 years, from 1970 to 2000, the Venezuelan people kept voting in socialists. In the initial elections, they actually voted in Chavez, and most people think the initial elections were likely legitimate. But this is the end result of socialism. This is state-sponsored violence that occurred there. But what has to happen now is the people of Venezuela need to choose better. They need to realize that it wasn't just getting a bad person, that this is a bad economic system. So the oil companies have been owned by the Venezuelan government since 1976, the gas companies since 1971. This is not a new thing. So there's a bigger, broader debate we should be having here. And I don't think telling the people of Venezuela, we're coming, the gringos are coming, we're going to run your country, oil companies will come in and run you like we did in the 19th century. I think that even our friends will resist that. And so
Rand Paul on this issue is essentially correct. And the premise here completely and totally collapses. Maria Bartiromo actually admits the real standard, which is we do not apply the logic consistently. Saudi Arabia gets a pass because they're allies. Venezuela gets targeted because they're weak and politically inconvenient, politically convenient in the sense of doing this, inconvenient to leave alone. Now, I don't want to totally redirect the segment, but I want to take a brief pit stop just to remind, and I talked about this on Tuesday, nowhere in this, when we talk about we're getting this drug, it's cocaine from Colombia, and then there's meth, and then
But wait, he had conspiracy to own a machine gun. Duh.
there's fentanyl, and then there's fentanyl, and they're bringing. Nowhere in this is, wait a second, isn't the drug going to find its way here no matter what if there is demand for it? If there is a market, free markets and capitalism don't work for some things and do work for other things. And one of the areas where free markets and capitalism do work is that they tell us that when there is massive demand for something, the market will figure out a way to supply it. It might be more expensive, but it's going to figure out a way to supply it. And why aren't we talking about the reason that there's this much desire to ship these drugs into the United States? Because there is massive demand. This is not a pro or anti-drug comment. It's just the reality. They don't want to talk about that. Okay, back to Rand Paul. When he points out that the justification here, if we're saying, oh, but these drugs aren't coming from X, well, there's no fentanyl coming from Venezuela, and yet that was cited as one of the reasons that Trump did what he did. Fox has nowhere to go. Maria has nowhere to go. There's no follow-up, no correction, no counter argument. She just has to pivot to something else. And what makes it especially brutal for Trump is that it's not coming from the left. It's coming from a Republican that Trump says is a rhino, a Republican in name only. But it is a Republican senator explaining that this justification for what was done is fake, and he's doing it on right-wing media. Funny bonus Rand Paul clip. He was speaking to a reporter about Lindsey Graham saying, let's go get Cuba. And Rand Paul said,
"Oh
Lindsey
God,
Graham should not be going to the White House for meetings with
Lindsey Graham's fucking insane, dude. If we
Trump,
I'm wondering how worried you are about Lindsey Graham talking to the president here about Cuba.
There should be a law that Lindsey Graham can only go to the White House every other week, and that he's only to meet with under, mid-level people, not the president, and no more golf outings. If I could pass a law saying no more golf outings,
he was on the airplane with him, and he's pushing Cuba. He's saying Cuba's days are numbered.
It's always been an anomaly because Lindsey Graham has been diametrically opposed to everything Donald Trump has ever said on regime change for years and years and years, and yet it's probably the quintessential political maneuvering beyond all political maneuvering that a person who's so diametrically opposed to everything that MAGA stands for has infiltrated MAGA and is pulling MAGA over towards regime change.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting analysis from Rand Paul, where in theory, right, we were told that MAGA's different than neocons because they are against new wars and regime change and meddling overseas and all of this. But somehow Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio, they're agitating for let's not stop with Venezuela. Let's go to Colombia, and we're going to Cuba, and we're going to Greenland, right? It's this building list of places.
Fucking insane.
It really confirms what is becoming increasingly obvious, which is there is no coherent MAGA ideology. When it was useful to vote for Trump, they said this is the anti-war guy. When it's useful to defend Trump's reign, it's of course we're going to go in and take out this narco trafficker and then get Greenland, which why does Denmark have it anyway? And you might say, what is the glue holding it together? Is it anti-interventionism? Is it neoconservatism? Is it energy being as cheap as possible? What's the glue? There is no glue. The only thing holding it together is Trump. Do I find a way to support Trump or don't I? And you've got Republican senators now mocking each other, Fox hosts getting corrected on air by Republican senators, and the entire foreign policy rationale has collapsed because there is no coherent ideology. Thanks for watching.
There was a new person on TikTok that I found. Hold on. What was her name? Makeup artist, maybe? At law? She's like a lawyer that does makeup stuff. Yeah, okay. She had a pretty decent take, and she's a lawyer. I don't think she ever wanted to address this shit, but it seems like she's been thrown in the limelight now. Is it this one?
Did you see the
video taken from a different angle that shows she hit him? I just saw that one. Yikes.
Did you see the video taken from a different angle that shows she hit him? I just saw that one. Yikes.
No, I haven't seen that one. If that video exists, I need to see it, though. I would love for you to share it. I'll definitely watch it. I gotta tell you, though, my good sense tells me that video does not exist. And that's not to call you a liar. I'm not saying you didn't watch a video that made you think that. But I've watched this video from every angle. I've watched it so many times trying to see what you all see. And what you all see isn't there. So, and this is what makes me crazy. I spend so much time examining my thoughts, asking myself, am I crazy? Questioning what I'm seeing and I'm hearing. Because you all are telling me I'm not seeing what I'm seeing and I'm not hearing what I'm hearing. I'm not crazy. This is really what scares me more than anything else. This is why I'm so troubled about this. I know you all can tell I've been troubled about this, but this is what makes this so troubling for me. I feel like we are living in George Orwell's worst nightmare. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears, and that is what so many people have done. And it started with the president. Mere moments after Renee Good was shot, the president pops off with this Truth Social post. Before any of the rest of us have had a chance to see the video, he tells us what we're going to see. He says he has seen the video. He said, I saw the clip of the events which happened in Minnesota. He says, I've seen the video. He proceeds to tell us what we're going to see. He says, we are going to see, when we watch the video, we are going to see an ICE agent violently, willfully, and viciously ran over by a vehicle. He tells us that it's going to be hard to believe that this ICE agent is alive. And then he tells us the ICE agent is currently in the hospital recovering from the injuries he sustained from being violently and viciously ran over by a vehicle.
Again, if it was true, if the evidence was right in front of her face, if he had it all on video and no one could doubt it, why'd they have to lie about it?
That's what the president told us we were going to see, and that is what a lot of y'all saw. Even if Jonathan Ross was swiped or bumped, it's hard to say this because I don't want to sound condescending saying this, but anybody in their right mind with eyes can tell you that Jonathan Ross, even if you think he was swiped or bumped by Renee Good's vehicle, anybody in their right mind with eyes has to acknowledge Jonathan Ross was not violently and viciously ran over by a vehicle. The president of the United States recklessly disseminated false information. And so many people in this country not only ran with it, they're sticking with it, doubling, tripling down on it. Has he taken down that post? Has the president apologized for mischaracterizing what happened? Has he taken back those words violently and viciously? I'll let you argue whether it was willful. Renee Good is dead. No, we'll never really know if it was willful. We can draw inferences, but we'll never know if it was willful because she's dead. She's the only one who knows her true intentions. But nobody in their right mind can characterize what they saw in that video as an ICE agent being violently and viciously ran over by a vehicle. That's a lie. It's not true. Not remotely true. There's no truth to that at all. It is alarming to me that our president would brazenly disseminate objectively false information. But what disturbs me more than the fact that the president would disseminate false information in the first place is how many people have bought into it. We are living in George Orwell's worst nightmare. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears, and a lot of y'all did. The president told us it'll be hard to believe that he is alive and that he had to go recover in the hospital from the injuries he sustained. What injuries did he sustain? This is him immediately after the shooting. What grave injuries do you think this man sustained? What was he recovering from? Have you heard what his specific injuries were that he was recovering from at the hospital? The injuries he sustained from being hit by this car? Look at his pants. His pants are in pristine condition, and it's snowy, wet, and muddy out there. His feet never left the ground. I literally bumped into my car carrying in groceries the other day and had to change my pants because we had some bad weather. This man's pants are pristine. He never even dropped his cell phone. His cell phone never even fell out of his hand. You see this man. Does this look like a man who has been violently and viciously ran over by a vehicle? Does this look like a man who needs to go to the hospital and recover for the injuries he just sustained in this encounter? Can you really be hit by a vehicle and not have anything to show for it? His shoes didn't even come untied. It is so disturbing to me. This is the scary part. I don't think people are watching the video and thinking to themselves, this man was not violently and viciously struck by this vehicle. This man was not recovering from injuries at the hospital. But I got to go with the narrative because, this is my political party. I got to stick with the narrative. I think people, this is what scares me. I think people are watching it and they believe they are seeing a man violently and viciously struck by a vehicle. They believe they're seeing a man who's going to have to go to the hospital and recover from his injuries, even though they've never been told what his injuries were and what he had to do to recover. They believe it because the party told them to reject the evidence of their eyes and ears before anybody had a chance to watch those videos. The party told us what we were supposed to see, and I'm very uncomfortable with the number of people who subscribe to it and continue to double and triple down on it when we're all watching the same videos.
Did you see the video taken from a different angle?
And then she has an update on this.
Every night in this day, and I don't know who I can bill for these hours because y'all got me working like a lawyer again. Don't you understand? I don't want to do this anymore.
You need to see that video. She was being sarcastic when she said she hasn't seen that video. She's obviously seen that angle, but it does not show her hitting him.
I got the video you all wanted me to watch. It was the same video I watched yesterday. It was the body cam. It's not really body cam. It was Jonathan Ross was holding a cell phone in one hand and filming and had his cell phone in his left hand, his gun in his right hand. This is just his cell phone video. So yeah, I saw this yesterday. This was not a smoking gun for me yesterday. But to be fair, I seriously have watched it about 100 times tonight just to try to, be open-minded about it. It's not a smoking gun to me. Is it because he goes, whoa, and shoots? Is that when you think he was hit? Is that what makes you think he was struck? I think it's equally as plausible to say he fumbled his phone while he was going for his gun. But he never dropped his phone. You would think if you're struck by a
My bad. Hold on.
Vehicle. Shoot, I dropped my phone, you know, walking to the kitchen. Like, he's struck by a vehicle and he don't even drop his phone. Like, you know, see what I'm saying? So that creates doubt for me. I don't think we can prove anything beyond a reasonable doubt, especially from this video, because we're basing it on what we're hearing. And I'm sorry, I've tried. That I'm not convinced beyond a reasonable doubt by that video that he was actually struck by the vehicle. And then I compare that to what I see in the angles where we can actually see what's happening. So just to get a full, fair picture of what I'm talking about here, let's take a look at the video you all wanted me to watch. I cut it just down to the relevant portion. Then I want to show you the other video that I find to be more convincing, the one where we can actually see what's happening. I slowed it down a lot and I walked you through my analysis so you could understand where I'm coming from. I want you to see how I'm seeing this. You know, I want to see how you're seeing it, but I want you to see how I'm seeing it too. Here's the video you all wanted me to watch. This is the video that I personally find more helpful. I slowed this one down a whole lot so we can analyze it. I find this one more helpful because we can actually see it. We don't have to speculate.
They claim that because the change in the angle, the reason his phone changes because he uses his hand and throws it up on the hood.
The Brando series is
Oh fuck, I fucked that up. Hold on.
these hours because y'all got me working like a lawyer. Shoot, I dropped my phone, you know, I compare that to what I see in the angles where we can actually see what's happening. So just to get a full, fair picture of what I'm talking about here, let's take a look at the video you all wanted me to watch. I cut it just down to the relevant portion. Then I want to show you the other video that I find to be more convincing, the one where we can actually see what's happening. I slowed it down a lot and I walked you through my analysis so you could understand where I'm coming from. I want you to see how I'm seeing this. You know, I want to see how you're seeing it, but I want you to see how I'm seeing it too. Here's the video you all wanted me to watch. This is the video that I personally find more helpful. I slowed this one down a whole lot so we can analyze it. I find this one more helpful because we can actually see it. We don't have to speculate as much. Okay, look here. She's cutting her wheel to the right. He's pulling his gun out of his holster. He's going to point it at the windshield. I want you to pay attention to his back right foot the entire video, okay? Because it stays stable the whole time. You don't see... Okay, this is right before the shot. There's the gun, pointing at the windshield. There's the wheel cut completely to the right, suggesting she's trying to miss him. His feet have not stumbled or tripped at all as if he's been struck by the vehicle at this point. And now we're getting ready to see smoke. Boom, there it goes. And once again,
he's clear when he fires.
Feet have not stumbled, fumbled as if he's been struck by the vehicle at any point during this interaction. Also, his feet appear to be a safe distance from the vehicle. By the time he fires the shot, I don't think there's any question. There was no danger of him being struck by the vehicle. She was clearly trying to miss him. Now, this is the punch to the gut right here, and I really think this one is why a lot of us are having a hard time with this. Okay, she's clearly no danger, no threat to him, yet he pulls the gun out again, sticks it in the driver's side window, fires the final shots.
Even if you want to claim, even the people that's like, oh, well, you keep shooting until the threat's eliminated. This is no longer a threat to him or any other officer. He's beside the vehicle. What is she, a threat to that tree in front of her? Not a crowd of people there. It's not a bunch of agents over there. They're all right here beside her.
Fucking bitch. Of course, I don't think I'm changing anybody's mind, and I guess I'm not even really trying to at this point. I really think it's futile for us to even try to agree with each other at this point. I think the most helpful thing we could do is just try to understand each other. This isn't about truth. I'm afraid it never will be. This is about team loyalty. That is so unfortunate. I wish so much we were not in this shape. We shouldn't be in this shape, y'all. We are letting politicians who don't even know we exist create friction between us and the people who actually show up in our lives. It's a shame. I really wish we could all get on the same team and it could be us against them. Them being the politicians who will never know we exist, who will never be at our loved ones' funerals, who will never be there for the births or baptisms of our babies. Politicians who have never and will never take a seat at our Thanksgiving tables. Politicians who have made it their life's work to keep us divided so we're too distracted squabbling with each other to realize they're robbing us blind. Most importantly, they don't need us nosing around in their debauchery and their overall insatiable appetite for moral turpitude. I want to know who I can bill for these hours because y'all got me working like a lawyer again. Don't you understand? I don't want to.
I honestly think
video you all wanted me to watch. It was the same video I watched yesterday. It was the body cam. It's not really.
They watched it. We're all watching the same video. There is no new video. There isn't a video that I've seen that you haven't seen or what. They're seeing what Trump tells them to see. They're seeing what Kristi Noem tells them to see. They're not seeing what actually happened. I don't know how. I don't know why. They're seeing something completely different that isn't on the tape. It just isn't there. I don't know if she addresses it again or not.
Every day at Brando's locked up.
It doesn't seem like she addresses it again.
Boobs. By the time I'm school, TikTok loves my tatas. I really think right now we are beyond the point of changing each other.
Okay, so your analysis is incorrect. You mentioned his right foot remains stable. What you fail to notice or mention is his foot slides on ice. Another failure is the officer is placed directly in front of her once she...
There's minds, so the best we could do at this point is just try to understand each other. And I don't want any of y'all to think that I'm just summarily discrediting any of your theories or ideas, which is why I want to take you on a little trip through the mind of a criminal defense attorney and try to help you understand where I'm coming from and why I see it the way I do, not to change your mind.
I'll show you Attorney Christmas, too, before we go.
Theory here. And I want you to understand why it hasn't changed my mind. As a criminal defense attorney of more than a decade, I will tell you that, you will develop a theory of the case pretty early on based on the preliminary evidence that's available to you. But throughout the case, you can't just automatically discard any counter facts or counter arguments that hurt your case. It's the worst mistake you can make as an attorney. Instead, you have to test it against the theory of the case that you currently hold. So that's what I've attempted to do here with your counter argument that the ICE agent did not stumble on his feet upon being struck by Renega's vehicle is because it was icy and he was standing on ice. So instead of stumbling his feet, he slipped on the ice. What I have to do is test your theory against the theory that I've already developed, that the ICE agent was not in fact struck by the vehicle, which is why he didn't stumble on his feet during the encounter. I gotta tell you, it didn't take very long for the slipping on ice theory to fall apart for me. Not based on any expert legal training, but really just what I would call common sense. If I were representing Jonathan Ross in this case, and I went to meet with him to review the evidence and discuss the case, and I asked him if he was struck by the vehicle, why did he think he didn't stumble on his feet upon being struck by a vehicle? And he said, it was icy. I was standing on ice. I didn't stumble. When the car hit me, I slid instead of stumble. So it did hit me. I didn't stumble because I slid on the ice instead. I would look at him and say, Bubby Cat, is that really what you want to go with? Is that what you want me to tell this jury of your peers in Minnesota, a state which has one of the highest ice slip and fall mortality rates in the country? You want me to tell this Minneapolis jury that you didn't fall because it was icy? See where I'm going with this? For me, the whole he slipped instead of stumbled argument, it is not a slam dunk. In fact, as an attorney, assuming I could keep my client off the stand, because if he testified and that was his version of events and he was sticking to it, he would have to say that out loud. If I could keep my client off the stand, even if that was his version of events and he was sticking to his story, I probably would not mention that at trial. That is one of those facts that I wouldn't lie about it, but I try to avoid bringing it up at all. I feel like that's one of those facts that could really hurt you more than it helps you, especially in that venue. I mean, wasn't this the last couple of days in Minnesota where this other ICE agent slipped and fell on ice before he entered a porta potty with an ICE detainee? If his buddy's slipping and falling walking to the porta potty, it's hard to believe that Jonathan Ross was actually struck by a vehicle on ice.
That's a wild video. I have no idea if anybody's gotten to the bottom of this, but he takes a woman out of the back of an ice car and into a single-person porta potty, and they both go in there together.
And still didn't fall. You don't have to agree with me, but at the very least, I hope you can at least understand now why the whole slip versus stumble argument doesn't really change my mind. I really think right now we are beyond the point of changing each other's and try to understand each other. And I don't want any of y'all.
I don't know what the fuck happened there. Let me show you Attorney Christmas and how he believes it's a very, 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 very hard case to defend, even if he wanted to.
Hypothetically, if
this guy's from Tennessee, he seems like a pretty straight shooter. He'll call out the cops when it's bullshit. He'll call out the fucking convicts when it's bullshit.
Immigration officer.
If I get in trouble, this is the guy I'm calling. Just so you guys know, if you ever like get notification from the moderators or from Ra or something that I'm in jail, send this guy money, okay? Because that's who I'm going to call.
Got charged. Here are 5 things that I would be concerned with if I was on his legal team. I'm Attorney Christmas. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I have and do represent officers who are involved in use of force cases, and I've represented through trial cases similar to this, and so I have a unique perspective. Now, disclaimer, some of the reasoning and concerns I have come from conversations I've had with 2 friends of mine who are federal agents. One has somewhat of a connection to the case. The other has a unique perspective because of the type of work they do and because of the elected officials they interact with. So some of the...
You can't remember the name Christmas? But they don't let you have Christmas in communist China? Christmas. Xmas.
These concerns come from what they have told me. It's hearsay. It's not something I'm really getting from the news. So if you hear something that
I'm going to quiz you on this in a couple of days at Suco, just so you know.
Doesn't really jive with what you've heard, it's probably because of that. That's a little disclaimer. Number one, the video the immigration officer is taking, it's a problem. It's a double-edged sword. Whether you like it or not, it's a problem. I'd much rather have this case without the video. The video does more harm, in my opinion, than it does good. Number two, he's videoing, and there's several reasons why it's a problem. I'm going to give you one of the biggest ones. When you are videoing, typically what you do is you're looking through the phone and out the lens into what's happening. And
yes, I didn't even think about that.
Like this,
I think about whenever something, like let's say there's like an altercation, like you and some guy in a parking lot getting like a cussing match, and he's like, fuck you, and you're like, fuck you, and you go inside and pay for your gas. I know that you might be inclined, when you come back outside, if he's still out there, to pull out your phone and be like, I'm just documenting this. But you have to think, a prosecution is going to say, oh, you were in the gas station, you were fuming mad, you thought, oh, it's about to pop off, and I'm going to videotape it all. So that's why you started recording, because you knew you were going to go out there. You knew you were going to confront him. You knew something was going to happen. I always think about that, right? It's another thing to get it on a body cam or a dash cam, because those things are basically always recording.
Standing in front of the vehicle and on your phone.
Christmas!
And you're looking at this through your phone. And then at one point you have to pull
his name is Jonathan Christmas Pancakes.
Your service pistol, and you have the phone in your hand. And one of the questions is going to be is, if you put your phone down and looking and you being able to use both hands, would you have been able to see and perceive this differently? Would you have been able to see and comprehend that she is actually...
Exactly. So think about it. When you're looking through your viewfinder on your phone, when you're videotaping, you're usually looking at your phone to make sure it's in frame. And technically, yeah, you're seeing what's ever in frame. But would that change what you're looking? You know what I'm saying? Would you have had a broader point of view? Would you have been focused on something else rather than your phone? Is there times where you can't see this, or the field of view and like that? I would never have thought about that, but that does make sense.
It seems to be in the video, she's turning the wheel away from you. And so that's one of the things, and like it or not, they're issues that they're going to come up.
And you can say whatever the fuck you want about split seconds. The jury is going to watch this at the slowest goddamn speed they can. You can say, oh, it happened fast and this, that, and the other. Get the fuck out of here. The jury is going to watch this in slow motion.
And you're going to have to address if this gentleman is charged. Number three, he's not hit head on. If you look at the angle from kind of afar looking down, when he gets hit with a car, his feet are not in the path of the car. His feet are sort of on the side of the vehicle, the driver's side, and his upper body kind of gets grazed and not really.
Not to mention he put himself in jeopardy against all of his training, all the tactics, all of the procedures, and their use of force.
But kind of bumped into as the car is veering to the opposite.
Dude, I had an interaction back right after Hurricane Helene, to where my wife and I, both our cars, run dash cam, so much so that when I have multiple cars, they're all beaters, but I'm not like bragging. But what I'm saying is I switch the dash cam to the car that I'm driving if I switch cars.
Opposite side.
And my wife has her own on her car that she drives every day.
Where the driver's side headlight is, and that driver's side front panel. And that's a problem, because the question is going to be, what's the purpose of using your service pistol? Because shooting this person is not going to stop the car from going the direction it was intending to go, or the direction it was trying to go. That's not how it goes. So
yes, even if she was coming directly at him and ramming the gas, shooting her does not stop the problem. It doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't make you safer. It doesn't make you less likely to be injured. It doesn't do any fucking thing.
You can shoot all day long. The car's still going to go forward. It happens so quickly, and because you're not really in the front, because it happens such a split second, it's a problem. And as you can see, the gun did not cause the car to veer off to the right and go. The car was already intending to go there. And so they're going to have...
I wonder what's the maximum speed, even if there wasn't ice there and her tires weren't spinning. They are. As soon as she puts it in gear, the tires spin because they're on ice. What's the maximum speed she could have been at when she made contact with them? Like worst case scenario. 2 miles an hour?
Probably engineers come out. I mean, it's going to be it's a lot. Just because they're giving her lawful orders and she is not complying with that, and she decides to leave, and the officer in some regard gets brushed with the car, that doesn't mean you just get to shoot. And number 5, a concern I would have, it would be the reaction after the fact. And their reaction after the fact is not... It's just...
The cables can be aggravating if you don't... Like, I put mine behind my headliner, but I like taking shit apart and tweak it and fucking with it, tweaking it. But they can get aggravating. My wife's just... I routed it just behind the headliner and then down on the passenger side behind the window, the windshield pillar, and then down and across and plug it in.
It's not good. It doesn't look good. A concern I would have, it would be the reaction after the fact. And their reaction after the fact is not... It just doesn't... It's not good. It doesn't look good. And that's a problem. And I'll give you another one. And everybody that was wanting...
I'll tell you another one. So one thing that I've mentioned multiple times is how everybody reacts. What would be better for this officer is if every officer in frame drew their weapon. I don't know if you guys noticed this. No one drew their weapon but him. If 6 officers see the exact same scenario, it doesn't matter that their life's not in danger. They're allowed to protect other agents, right? If 6 officers see the same scenario, one of them draws their weapon and starts pow, 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 right? And the other ones don't. Clearly, they didn't see it as a life-threatening issue. If 6 officers see it, all 6 officers draw, even if only one of them pulls the trigger, but all 6 officers draw, that's a different situation. At least from where they're evaluating it, nobody drew.
To have his back would keep their mouth shut, because I'm going to tell you, juries, it's hard to pick a jury that is fair.
The jury, when they hear fucking bitch after he murdered this woman or shot her or defended himself or whatever they want to call it, when they hear fucking bitch, watch him calmly walk over to the car, peek in, see that she's dead, calmly walk away. That's it. He's done. Conviction. That's it.
And impartial when you polarize people as much as they're being polarized. So if this case does go to trial, it's going to be extraordinarily hard to pick the jury I would want to pick. So
I see a bunch of videos about people like jumping in front of cars, like slamming on the brakes and claiming they're injured. They all get out holding their fucking necks and shit, like these insurance scams. And obviously we only see them because they have dash cams, but I wonder how many people that happens to that doesn't have dash cams. We had a thing where this guy was mad that he got banned from the campground and was basically trying to blame me and my wife for it and claimed that we tried to run him over while he was walking down the road, just all kinds of crazy shit. But we had it all on camera.
Those are just 5 or 6 reasons of things that I would be concerned with if I was on this gentleman's legal team and if he's ultimately charged. Again,
that means you've got her blocked, Jaybird.
The facts are the facts, folks. You determine. I have my own opinions, but you know that's just who they are. I'm Attorney Christmas, Knoxville, Tennessee, Clinton, Tennessee. If you need me, call me. Hypothetically, if the immigration officer in Minnesota got charged, here are 5 things that I would be concerned with if I was on his legal team. I'm Attorney Christmas. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I have and do represent officers who are involved in use of force cases.
I think that was a pretty good take from Attorney Christmas. At Christmas, the holiday Christmas.
If I was on his legal team, he would be saying,
what do you advise him to say when asked, why did you shoot twice through an open window when the car was to the side of you? Now, this is going to be his advice if he was representing him.
If I was on his legal team, he would be saying absolutely nothing. Our sole focus would be building a supremacy defense and getting this out of state court. Folks, make no mistake about it.
Getting this out of state court because the feds will take care of it for him, basically. If I was his lawyer, everything I would do would be to get this out of state court. He's going to be convicted in state court. Get this to the federal level where the feds can take care of it, like they've already said.
Do not let your political ideology sway you one way or the other. This would be a very difficult case on the facts to litigate. And I'm not saying that the officer would be found guilty. I'm not saying the officer would be found not guilty. I'm saying that this would be a very, very, very long ride and a very difficult time for everybody, but specifically for the defendant in the case.
Motherfucker, they got him in protective custody now.
If this case was in Tennessee and you're dealing with a state cop, what I'd be concerned with is the jury finding him guilty on a lesser included offense, such as reckless homicide or negligent homicide. If I was on his legal, I wanted to respond to this.
Tim Walsh signed it. This is not true. So Tim Walsh signed a bill that basically, like, I guess what people don't understand, police officers have the same right to self-defense as you do. I don't know why people, they may have more interactions. They may have more options to use it. They have more times that they have to call on self-defense because they're in situations where they might need it more often than the regular Joe. But when you see a cop doing something, not pulling somebody over, blah, 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 but when you see them defending their own life and they're claiming, I was in fear for my life, it's the same right to self-defense as you do. So take the cop out of it. If it was just a guy standing there and he shot that woman, what would happen to him? But the law that they're claiming that Tim Walsh signed, blah, 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 basically it restructured when they can claim self-defense and all this stuff. Just he'll do a good explanation of it. Also, there's a lie going around. I think I talked about it last night, that she drove 5.5 hours to come down here and harass ICE. No, she didn't. She lives right there.
Here, I saw several people make comments about how the governor signed a bill into law in 2020 that gave law enforcement the right to act if a vehicle was coming towards them, a right to use self-defense if a vehicle was coming towards them. That's not true. What that bill did was give a clear self-defense, clear use of force policy. It was a really big overhaul of reform. So before this came into law, officers already had a right to use self-defense in those situations. And I want to be very clear because I think people are confused by this.
What do you think is quicker? Making the decision to draw your weapon, pulling it up, putting it on target, getting a good sight picture, and pulling the trigger? Or step to your rights?
The law did not change the constitutional definition of self-defense, and also did not give this blanket sort of, you can always use self-defense when a vehicle is coming at you or you perceive a vehicle is coming at you. And 3, it did not create some kind of extra category of vehicle self-defense. So what the new law really did was require new department policies, training, and accountability. It did not rewrite sort of what self-defense was or is for law enforcement. And I've always liked to say this, self-defense for an officer is the same self-defense we get to have. So what we're looking at is the reasonable fear of imminent death or serious bodily injury. So breaking that down, based on the facts and circumstances as I know them, is it reasonable for me to fear that if I do not use deadly force in this situation, that I'm either going to A, die, or 2, suffer serious bodily injury if I do not pull out my pistol and use it? So that is the base principle of self-defense. Now there's exceptions.
And then you get the argument of, let's say he had the first shot was perfect. Let's say he drew, got a good sight picture, and the first shot was right between the fucking eyes. Done. She's dead. He's no safer now than he was before he shot. The vehicle's still moving. In fact, the body may tense up and ram the accelerator even harder.
And everything else to the rule, but that is the core ideology. I wanted to respond to this right here. I saw several people make comments about how I made a video and said we have the
I understand that you are the legal expert here. However, I don't agree that the defense rights are the same between an officer and the standard citizen. The officer are given more abilities due to the nature of their job. This person just lies. So listen, I'll read the whole comment. I understand that you're a legal expert. However, I don't agree that the defense rights are the same between an officer and a standard citizen. The officers are given more abilities due to the nature of their job. They can use force to protect themselves, other officers, or the general public. Yeah, so can you in most states. Are you telling me that you believe that if someone's like fucking threatening my wife with a knife and I shoot her, that I'm not justified? Especially in fucking Tennessee. Of course I am. The reasonable officer standard without hindsight is in play. That's the same standard when you claim self-defense. Would another reasonable person in your shoes feel like their life was in danger? You're just substituting citizen for officer. The reasonable officer standard without hindsight is in play. If a reasonable officer would feel that the danger existed at the moment the officer acted without information that came out afterwards, the shooting is justified. Yeah, that's the same standard that you have when you go to court. If you're claiming self-defense, they say, would a reasonable person, not a paranoid, not a person who has a vendetta, not a person who wants to get another person, if you plucked you out of that situation and put what we would call another reasonable person in that same exact situation, would they feel like their life was in danger and they needed to take action? So you're saying like, oh, officers are given more leeway. They're not. You're just using the exact same justification. Then it says, the officer can shoot if he felt the driver was endangering the other agent that was reaching into the driver's door when they drove off. Again, I can shoot to defend somebody else too, another citizen, or a police officer, or anybody.
Respond to this right here. I saw several people make comments about how the governor signed a bill into law.
All right, let's go to
I made
her
a video
comment.
and said we have the same right and we're held to the same standard as a police officer would be in a self-defense case. Police officers have no more or less rights than we do to use self-defense. Now, the reason why that seems odd and hard to grasp, maybe, and why you might disagree with me, is that we as citizens aren't going around detaining people and pulling people.
Right. We don't have the same interactions. We don't have the same number of encounters. But yeah, this would be valid.
Over. So we don't have the right to go pull someone over in a traffic stop. But what I want you to think about is lawful activity. When you are conducting yourself lawfully in lawful activity,
they're walking a fine line here, because if this is a justified shoot, it's not, but if it was, now imagine you're on private property, not in the road, right? You're on private property on the sidewalk or something, and one of these videos comes out where the ICE agents fucking run somebody down with their goddamn car. They're all fair game now?
you have the same right and you're held to the same standard to use self-defense as any officer would be. And one of the reasons why you say you disagree with me is because officers have a right to not only defend themselves, but other police officers and the general public. Well, you do too as a normal citizen. It's called self-defense of a third party.
I didn't know he did this video. I wouldn't have went through the whole explanation, but yeah.
So if you're sitting in the parking lot minding your own business and you see someone getting attacked, let's say Bob's getting attacked, and you don't know Bob, but you reasonably fear based on what you're seeing that there is an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury for Bob, you can go over there and defend Bob with deadly force, and that's for everybody. I made a video and said we have the same right and we're held to the same standard as a police officer would be in a self-defense case. Police officers have no more or less rights than we do to use self-defense. What is the difference between Delta 8 and Delta 9? Well, I'm about to answer.
I think that's it. Yeah, we're in his pen videos now. Attorney Christmas, check him out. He's actually in kind of around Knoxville area. He does everything from like these criminal cases. He's been covering this shit. Over 400 Tennessee drivers were arrested last year and charged with DUI, and every one of them were sober. Over 400 sober, innocent people were arrested and charged with DUI. basically they bring in a guy that claims that he is trained in how to tell if you're under the influence of narcotics, something that wouldn't show up on a breathalyzer, and claims that and then they pull your license, they put you in jail for 48 hours, you see a judge, you got to make bail or bond, and then you spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars fighting the charge, all so they can meet their quotas. It's fucking insane, dude. He's been covering that, a lot of stuff going on around Tennessee and the world, but he seems like he knows what he's talking about. He's also uncovered a bunch of, I don't know what he is politically. He doesn't really talk politics, but he's uncovered a bunch of fucking lies within the local government and contradictory testimony and claims and emails and Freedom of Information Act stuff. Yeah, it was pretty interesting, some of the stuff he's uncovered. So follow him on TikTok. Other than that, I think that's it, guys. It's after 1:30 a.m. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Please consider, if their entire case revolves around he was drugged before, now DHS is liable, right? If you didn't get him some type of treatment and some type of treatment plan and medical plan and something, and you put him back out on the street because he was drugged before by a car and put a gun in his hand, now you're liable. You're liable for that, right? I don't give a fuck that he's got PTSD. I'm sorry. Fucking kick rocks and pay him workman's comp. But it's not her fault that he was drugged by a car fucking last year. Anyway, support the show. Just Quick Tools, my links, whatever. That's the way you get to donate. I got to pay the bills around here. I just paid the rent, and now the electric bills do, I think. So that's how we keep the show on the air. If you want to support, thank you guys for joining us. Talking you for being here. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm trying to not get too deep down in the nitty gritty. It's making me fucking depressed, the shit that's going on. I know we're still talking about political, social issues, stuff going on, but I'm trying not to get as deep in there as I was. You know what I mean? So we'll get back into it. But right now, I just feel like shit, dude. I don't know. We'll see you about the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye. Electric bills are higher than they were last year for sure. And like all it runs is my computer, 3D printers, and a little heater when I'm here. There's no heat here when I'm not here because I can't fucking afford it.
On this planet.
When I come into the office, like today when I come in, it was 43 in the office. And right now it is 59. That's all I can afford. Have a good night, guys. I don't let it get below freezing because I got a bathroom here, but that's all I can do when I'm not here. Electric heat is stupid expensive, man.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who...
You're not supposed to eat the yellow snow. I don't know what weird sayings you have in China, but none of them in the U.S. are don't poop in ice.
Strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
Old Chinese proverb says, don't shit in the ice. Okay.
Get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit.
It's from The Art of War, I think.
It's about to get lit, get the place in the bets, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop.
It's from The Art of War, written by General Chow's.
What are you doing? Stop.
Obviously. He's also famous for the chicken.
This is my mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss them off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss them off. It's about to get lit. Get the place in them bets. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was doing so well. It's all over. Hands on it.
I just saw Border Collie sent something. I'll have to check that out.
No damn research. They rework and copy on